you need the factors that affect what? That affect this component cost. This component cost. So we have several factors which affect the component cost. So the first factor is what? It is event itself, the component cost itself. That is the first factor. The higher the component cost, the more what? The rate of return. And then again, the next factor which will affect the rate of or the component cost, the second factor is what? Availability of what? Availability of collateral, or what we call pledge. So if you have collateral and you want to look for like debentures, the loan, so they will probably give you the loan because you have what? Something to pledge on. That is collateral. Another one is what? Quotation. Quotation at what? Nairobi. Nairobi exchange. Nairobi exchange. So whenever your shares are being quoted at Nairobi exchange, meanwhile what? The rate of return on capital will be higher. So it is easier for a company who is quoted in Nairobi exchange to obtain what? Capital. So those are some of the things you need to know. So let's look the question that is November. Do you have the past paper? Do you have the past paper? Mute sound. So kindly.
Which year?
November, I think it is what? November 2018. November 2018, question 2. Question 2B. Question 2C, sorry. Question 2C. So question 2C is saying, the following is an extract from the statement of financial position of APYZ Limited as of that 1st June 2018. We have ordinary share of 50 each, reserves, 9% preference share of 100 each, 14% loan note, the total long-term fund. Additional information, the ordinary share are quoted at 80 per share. Ordinary shareholders expect cash dividend of 4 shilling per share and dividend growth rate at the rate of 12% at the end of every year. The preference shares, which are unredeemable, are quoted at 17.72 per share. The loan notes are quoted at par. The corporate tax rate is 33% per annum required. The weighted average cost of capital using the market value. So before even we do that, the first step, we need to compute what? Component cost. We need to know how to compute the component cost. So our first component cost here, itakuwa nini? A cost of equity. Tulisema formula ya cost of equity ni gani? We have two formulas. How do we get the KE? KE is the cost of equity. Tulisema tunapata aje KE? KE, so KE, we say KE, you take the dividend, the current dividend, you divide by what? The market price, Then you less if there is any flotation cost. Then you multiply by what? By G. By G. That is the first formula. Or no, this one is DI. This one is DI. Or we have two formulas, or DO into 1 plus G over, we divide by the market price, and then we multiply by G. So you have those two formulas. Now the question is, which formula are we using? If you are using this first formula, if the dividend is saying expected dividend, we use the first formula. But if the dividend is saying the current year dividend, just paid dividend, or just year ended, we use the second formula. So you find this information like note number 1. They say the ordinary share are quoted at 80 per share. Ordinary shareholders expect a cash dividend of 4 shilling per share and a dividend growth rate at the rate of 12% at the end of every year. Hapo tumeambiwa ordinary shareholders expect a cash dividend. So that is what? We use the first one because it is expected dividend. So we have our DI equal to what? 4. That is our DI. And then we have our G. G tumepewa G ikiwa ngapi? Our G is 12%. That is our G. And then our market price, that is PO. PO, they have given us PO ikiwa ngapi? The PO is 80 because they say they will sell per share. Then you put your formula. So it will be KE equal to that 4 we divide by 80. We multiply by what? 0. We change that one into percentage, 0.12. How much are we getting? Hiyo ni ngapi? Mimi sina calculator. Uko na calculator? So if you take 80, you divide by 4. 4 you divide by 80. How much are we getting? So I take 4, I divide by 80 at time 0.12. No, we don't. We add G. This one is not multiplication. G, we add G. It should be plus G. Want this one? It should be plus G, not times G, sorry. So it will be 4 we divide by 80, that you add 0.12 to give you 17%. If you multiply by 100, it gives you 17%. 17%, that is the first component cost. And then you come to the second component cost here. That is what? Cost of preference share. Cost of preference share. The cost of preference share, we take the simple form of preference share is KB. So we say KB equal to what? A preference dividend we divide by what? The market price, that is PO. That one we don't add G. So in our case, what is the so you go straight away to information relating to preference shares. Is not number what? Not number 2. The preference shares which are unredeemable are quoted at 72 shilling per share. So we have our PO, that is the market price, equivalent to what? 72. And then we have, now we want to get the preference dividend. How do you get the preference dividend? The preference dividend, you take the rate of that preference, that is the fixed preference rate, you multiply by what? The par value. So we will take 9%, that is the rate of the dividend. We multiply by the par value of this share, that is 100 each. Don't multiply with the market price. We multiply by the par value to give us a dividend of 9%. Is it 9 shilling? Yes, 9. That is the dividend. So that our KB will be that 9 we divide by 72. That is the market price, to give us how much. That one we don't add G, the cost of preference, we don't, because it doesn't have the growth rate. So it will be 9 we divide by 72 to give us what? Times 100. Give us 12.5.
12.5%.
Yes, percent.
5%.
Yes, that is the first component. Then we go to the third component. That is the cost of what? Cost of debt.
Cost of debentures.
Cost of debentures or cost of debt. How do we get? So the simple form inakwanga KD. So KD equal to interest. Interest we divide by the market price, and then we adjust. This one we must adjust with what? Tax rate. So we will take 1 minus tax rate, which in our case tax rate is what? 30%. So you will take 33. But so let's go and read the information related to the loan. They say the loan notes are quoted at par. What does it mean if they say the loan notes are quoted at par? So they are issuing this loan at par. So you write an NB there and say, I want you to write for me an NB. You say, if the loan or if the debt are issued at par without any flotation cost, without any flotation cost or discount, comma, say the coupon rate will be the cost of debt. The coupon rate will be the cost of debt. That note is very useful. You say if the debt are issued at par without any flotation cost or discount, the coupon rate will be the cost of debt. In our case, they say they were issued at par without any flotation. So our cost of debt, you just straight away check KB interest ilikuwa ngapi? 14%. So it will be equal to what? 14%. 14%, but you have to adjust for tax. So we multiply by what? 1 minus 0.3. 0.3 to give you the answer. So that one we don't need even to compute. But if there was a flotation cost, obviously they will affect that rate. So we multiply by 0.7 to give us 9.2 and 9.8%. 9.8%. That is the first step. This one is 9.8%. That is the first step on computing what the component cost. The component cost. That is now the first thing. Ukiuliza cost of
Sure.
yes.
Hello.
Yes. Lisa?
The tax they're given, the tax is 33, not 30.
Oh, 33.
Yeah. So
tumezoea that ni ngapi?
nakuja 9.38.
9.38. So we have not been asked that question, but we will not answer the question without doing that one, because when calculating the WACC, what is the weighted what? Due cost of capital, you need to know three things: how to compute the component cost, and how to do what? A weighted average cost of capital, that is weighted WACC, we call it WACC, weighted average cost of capital. Once you know how to compute the weighted average cost of capital, there is another one, that is WMCC, weighted market cost of capital. So the difference is, the first one uses the market value. That is why the question they've asked us, use the market values. The second one, WMCC, uses the book value. That is the only difference. So in the cost of capital, those are the, there's another one, that is the component cost. And this question is a must. Lazima ikuje. So make sure you understand these three components: component cost, WACC, and WMCC. So let's proceed. We do the the weighted average cost of capital. Once you are done with the component cost, you come now and arrange it, because what is the formula of getting the weighted average? So the formula is equal to WACC equal to the weight of KE, that is the weight of KE, plus the weight of KB, the weight of KB times the cost of KB, plus the weight of KD times cost of KD. That is the formula of what? Getting the WACC. So we need to compute the weight first. So I will write here my source. Na laptop yangu inazima. Source, I will start with ordinary share. Sorry, take this one. While computing the weight, we don't consider the retained earning under the WACC. We don't consider the retained earning. So the cost of ordinary share, we have been told to use the market values. So the values they have given us there,